So I ended up working for a computer company quite by accident. Literally, actually, by accident, but that's a whole different story. I worked for IBM for about 5 years while I was in my 20s. And one of the things that I had to learn was how to confidently speak to large groups of people, because part of my job was to help salesmen sell software. And I had very little experience doing this. I mean, I came from a tiny little town that had about 3,000 people in it, and the biggest group I'd ever spoken to was probably 50 people at a high school debate or something. So I had no experience doing this. But one day at IBM, they came around asking who would be interested in going to the UK to go and present the company's sales figures at an IBM conference. And my hand shot up, because I didn't really think about what they were asking me to do. All I could see in my head was I had the chance to become one of these high-flying jet setters that goes to exotic places like Birmingham and does fantastic and wonderful things. So I volunteered, and that was it. It was going to be my job to go and do this. So they gave me all this presentation material. I'm very old, right? So what they gave me was these things called flimsuits, which are like transparent sheets that had your data printed on it, and you had to put it on top of an old overhead projector and then talk about it, and then take that one off and put the next one on. None of this PowerPoint stuff. To me, PowerPoint is this. Anyway, so I got to the UK and I went and checked into the hotel, and next day I went across to the conference center, and only then did it dawn on me the scale of what I had to do. There was going to be 5,000 people at this conference. IBM's a very big company, and I was going to have to present this data to everybody sitting inside this giant conference center, having only ever spoken to at most 50 people. So I was nervous as hell. And when my turn came, I was kind of standing backstage, and while they were doing the introductions, and they gave me this newfangled thing which was called a wireless microphone, and it was very flash, very modern, and very futuristic. You put this little box in your pocket, and then you clipped a microphone to your suit lapel. By the way, yes, we had to wear suits. When you were at IBM, everybody wore suits. You had to wear a blue suit, a white shirt, cufflinks, and a blue tie. That was the official IBM uniform. So I'm sitting there, and they put this thing in my pocket, and they clipped this thing to my lapel, and then they turned it on, which was a mistake because I was very nervous, and this thing was sitting right above my heart, so all the audience could hear was my heart going mental. So that was a little bit embarrassing, and because everybody kind of realized what was going on as I poked my head out from the stage as the guy brought me on. And I was so nervous. This is how nervous I was. I was so nervous that as I walked across and I stepped up onto the stage, I broke wind. I farted, and it was very loud. And my wireless microphone picked it up and transmitted it through the airways to these giant speakers which were all around the conference center, and the sound of my fart echoed, and everybody burst out laughing. 5,000 people burst out laughing at me. And I walked to the middle of the stage, my face glowing like reindeer, like Rudolph's nose. And when the laughing died down, I said, and that's how we say hello in Africa. And since then, I've never had a problem talking in public, because honestly, there's no way down from that. You can only go up. this isn't the end of the story. Because about 3 years later, I went to another IBM conference, and I was introduced to a guy called Lou Gerstner, who was the IBM worldwide CEO. A very famous man, wrote a very good book. But anyway, and introductions were being made, and he was shaking hands, and he shook hands with me and he said, "I know you, you're the farting guy." So all of my experience and successes and the skills that I'd learned in my IBM career came down to one thing: I was the farting guy. I was the farting guy. So if ever you're feeling nervous about doing something that is slightly out of your comfort zone, just remember the story. Whatever you do can never be worse than farting in front of 5,000 people and the CEO of a worldwide company remembering you as the farting guy. Love you.